There are so many doors opening for you every single day. There are so many opportunities that you might be able to walk through, but you can't see them because you're in reaction mode. Welcome to Women Changing Leadership. I am your host, Stacy Mayer, and I teach you how to get promoted, get paid, and bring your whole self to the leadership table. I am on a mission to change organizations from the C-suite out because women are the new face of leadership, and we are doing it on our terms. Hello, corporate badasses. Welcome to another episode of Women Changing Leadership. I am your host, Stacy Mayer, and super excited, as always, to be here with you again this week. This is the week of Halloween. When I first met my husband, he said, "Oh, Halloween must be your favorite holiday." And actually, it is my favorite holiday, but not for the reasons that I think he guessed. If you've been listening to my podcast for a while or you know anything about me, you know I was an actress in New York City for over 20 years. That's my background. I studied it in high school all the way up until the point that I started having my own children. And, for him, he thought that I liked dressing up in characters and pretending to be characters. And that's why I loved Halloween. And that actually is not at all the truth. In fact, dressing up in characters at Halloween is my least favorite thing to do. And I'll tell you why. Because I like to play really realistic characters. And I used to dress up as like obscure characters, like growing up. And then as an adult, you get invited to Halloween parties and so on. And I would always dress up as Saturday Night Live characters. I would spend a lot of intention and energy on my costumes, trying to make them look very realistic, only to find out nobody even knew who I was. And I would have to over-explain myself. I would have to, share with them, haven't you seen that skit on SNL or like whatever? And, only to see their like blank stares on their faces. And then my friends would have these really cool costumes. They'd be like, "Oh my God, actually, my husband did this one year. You're Aang from Avatar." And everybody knew it. And people were calling it out as we were walking down the street. And so dressing up in Halloween costumes is really frustrating for me. I'm sharing all of this with you for a reason, so stick with me in today's episode, because the reason is because I want to share with you why this is actually my favorite holiday. So this past week, India celebrated Diwali, and at my school, which is a multicultural represented private school in Berkeley, California, they did a huge dance and presentation as part of Diwali. I spent some time in India. India is like my second home spiritually, and I am very connected to India and feel really alive and like truthfully like more myself than ever. And so to celebrate Diwali was very exciting for me. And then to see my daughter dancing the Bhangra dance at school, it was really great. She had a hard time with it because it's so complicated, but I thought she was wonderful, all the things. And but for me, the real excitement of Diwali and basically going into this holiday celebration season that we're about to enter into, from Halloween to Thanksgiving in the United States to Christmas, Hanukkah, all the various, New Year's. My husband is Korean, and we celebrate New Year's in a whole different way than I ever experienced in my life before. So there is so much excitement for all the celebration side of things. But what I appreciate about Halloween in particular as this kicking off point is this idea of a portal. It's an opening to light. So Diwali is the festival of lights, and it reminds you that there is always light inside the darkness. And for me, this matters, right? Like I need to know that there is like a little sliver of light, no matter what happens in my life, no matter how stuck I feel, no matter how frustrated I feel. I use situations like this knowing, this light, this remembrance as this opportunity to say, hey, not only is everything okay, but like it's going to be okay. And that light can continue to shine brighter and brighter and brighter and brighter, even when things feel really, really heavy and really, really hard. And honestly, at a time of Halloween, especially, like, it is actually a time when the veil, they talk about the veil to the spirits, whether or not you believe in all of this, just hear me out. But this, like, I believe it, and so I'm sharing it with you, is this veil is open. It's thin at this time to connect you to your ancestors, to something larger than yourself, to maybe perhaps your true self, right? Who you've always been, like your highest self, right? All of those great things are all available to you more so at this time of the year. And we have more support, we have more uplifting, whatever you think about your ancestors or your parents and situations that happened to you in the past that really screwed you up. This is an opportunity to use those people and those gifts to really elevate yourself, right? Like elevate who you are and how you see the world. And so this energy to me is incredibly, incredibly potent. And so once I kind of got comfortable with this idea that I was always going to dress as weird characters, that nobody knew, and that's okay, right? Like, we're all trying to find our identity, that weirdness inside us that we can just be okay with, that we can just say, screw it. And honestly, I don't really dress up for Halloween anymore. But what I do is I do all of these behind the scenes things during this time of year. And I really use it as an opportunity for reflection to see what slivers of light that I might be missing. Inside of my Women's Leadership Table Mastermind, I actually I read oracle cards with them every single time that we have a group call. We each individually draw oracle cards. And I started this practice, inside the mastermind. But before that, for me personally, several years ago, of drawing oracle cards as guidance. And this practice has been the most powerful self-help practice that I have ever experienced. And what I mean by that is I've been reading self-help books, since I was in my 20s, and I read all kinds of stuff. I still continue to read self-help, and really it's with this idea that I want to be better, right? That I want to live my fullest life. And I guarantee you do that as well. If you're listening to this podcast, I listen to lots of podcasts that motivate me, that help me feel better. But once I started drawing oracle cards, I realized that the way to feel better was to look within myself. So when I'm looking for help and guidance in these self-help books, I am looking for help and guidance outside of myself. And when I draw an oracle card, I realize that all of the help is available to me in this card, which is truly a reflection of me. It's much closer to home than somebody else's words. And it has been the single largest factor to trusting myself. Sometimes when I'm reading a book and trying to feel motivated, I feel worse afterwards because I feel shame. I grew up Catholic. I feel guilt really strongly. I feel bad. I feel like I need to fix myself. I go and like, to be completely transparent, like I'll eat more food to feel better, like anything outside of myself to try and fix me, right? Actually, in the mastermind last week, one of the women shared, it really touched my heart. She said, one of the most amazing things about working with you over the past 3 years I've been working with this woman is because you've never tried to fix me. All you've done is bring out my light and shown my light to the world. and helped me trust my light and trust who I am at my best. And this is my gift, and it's what I have learned to do on myself. And I do it in these opportunities where we have the world working with us. Like, if the veil is thinner at this time, why not use it as an opportunity to experience your own greatness, to look for that sliver of light, to say, hey, what am I missing? What is already here? What ancestors, what internal guidance, what knowing is already here that I might not be seeing? I'll link to my oracle cards in the show notes. And this is literally a question that you can ask yourself as you draw a card. You can say, hey, what can help guide me to find my light, my little sliver of light? What is it that I'm missing? What is it that I can't see right now that needs to be, elevated and shine brighter? What can I use to help support me during this time? Right? And because those veils are only thin for a short amount of time, and we might as well use the magnetic energy of the universe to help support us in this journey of becoming our authentically powerful selves. And so this is what I do. This is my practice. I was so excited to share with you this podcast episode so that you could begin to do some of this yourself. Now, what I want to do and share with you is some of the more practical approaches to being able to see what doors might be open to you that you're not looking at. This is something that I talk about a lot inside of my groups. I tell women, well, let's go back to the very beginning, which is probably about 8 years ago. Somebody said to me kind of snarkily at a meetup event that I went to, like, okay, so if I wanted to get promoted, what do I do? And I said, deliberately manage your career. And he was like, okay, whatever. That's so easy. And it's not, right? And if you're somebody who is trying to deliberately manage their career, you know that it's not easy. And, like, let's say you're laid off right now, that you're forced to deliberately manage your career. Let's say that you're not laid off, you're working at an organization, but you don't like your boss or you want to get out and you wish the times were better so that you could find an opportunity to leave your company. I'll tell you right now, you can. Not only can you, but if you intentionally, deliberately manage your career, it looks a little bit different than deliberately managing your career in reaction to what's happening around you. So in reaction to what's happening around you is, oh crap, I have to find a job. Like, I have to interview, I have to meet people, I have to go to these stupid networking events. I have to figure out that, oh my God, this algorithm. If I get another email from somebody saying they're trying to figure out this algorithm, like, I get several emails a day being like, what's happening? Why is everybody ghosting me? This is so terrible. I'll go all the way through the interview process, but I won't make it to the end, And so when you're deliberately managing your career that way, it's in reaction to the world and what's happening around you. Unfortunately, what happens is that still is based in that self-help, fix it. I have to fix myself. I have to fix my resume. I have to fix how I'm showing up in these interviews. I have to fix myself and fix everything and fix the economy and fix what the situations and fix my attitude and all that stuff. It's crap, 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 crap. The truth is that you are a corporate badass. I've said it before. You are amazing. You are capable of things that you can't even imagine right now. Fast forward 20 years, you're going to look back and be like, I can't even say how I got here. And there are so many opportunities ahead of you that you don't even know what they are yet. And so if you can begin to embrace that you don't know, then you can start to deliberately manage your career in a much more holistic, larger, intentional way that actually opens doors for you. There are so many doors opening for you every single day. There's so many opportunities that you might be able to walk through, but you can't see them because you're in reaction mode, because you have your head down at your desk, trying to figure it out, trying to figure out the algorithm, trying to beat the system. Can you imagine? Can you imagine, even at this time of year, trying to beat the system, right? Instead of going with the system, which is that opportunities are available to us. This is why Halloween can be a very scary time, right? Because if we're trying to beat the system, then those doors are just going to shut harder in our face. But instead, if you're curious and you're looking for that light and you're trying to say, okay, what opportunities are available to me right now? What is it that I'm not seeing? What can I walk through? So that's part one, is deliberately managing your career with a higher intention, with a knowing that you are capable, that you can do this in a way that you never even thought possible. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to take that intention to say, all right, I am bigger than the algorithm. I'm bigger than all of this. I am capable. And I'm literally like touching my heart, opening my chest. All of this is incredibly important when you do this process. And I say, what is it? God, universe, whatever, I am ready. I am ready to see something that I haven't seen before. What is available to me during this time? Use the magnetic energy of this world, of what's happening for us right now, and say, what is available to me at this time in my life? Like at this moment in time when the veil is thin, what opportunity can I walk through? What am I not seeing? Then I want you to go to LinkedIn, the practical world, and you are going to look for something. All right. And you're going to do it from that space of openness to say, hey, what is available to me? And then you're going to go and you're going to say, I'm ready. And it's so funny because I have literally done this process. Unfortunately, it lasts for, I would say, 30 seconds to 1 minute. Typically the first people, the first opportunities that you see are the ones that are the most ripe and ready to be walked through, are the opportunities that are ready to you can proceed with. Because what happens after about a minute is that your brain starts to kick in, right? You start to come back to earth. You leave the universal sphere and you're like, oh, should I reach out to that person? I don't know if that person was right. I don't know if I should do that opportunity. I don't know. I can't find anything. Nothing makes sense to me. Let me keep searching. Maybe I should search for these keywords. Maybe I should reach out to this person. How should I send that direct message? All of the things that happen inside of our logical brain start to kick in, and then we lose that magnetic energy. And this is a daily practice that you can do. It literally takes like 30 seconds to do. You can do it over and over again. You can just put your hand on your heart, take a deep breath, get yourself grounded, say, I am ready. And you can probably feel the difference when you're really ready or pretending to be ready. And then you say, all right, what is available to me? Go on LinkedIn and look for it. It's there. It is there. I've been told before that I'm very good at finding parking spots. I always find parking. And I will tell you, I only always find parking when I believe I always find parking. And it helps when other people tell me that too. Wow, you're so amazing. You always find parking. And you know what? I look up and there's a parking spot. When I'm like, oh God, we're never going to find any parking. My husband has to remind me, Stacy, remember? You always find parking. And I'm like, oh, I do. And then there's a parking spot. It happens every single time. This is truly the way the world works. This is truly the way the universe works. This is truly the way opportunities come to us. If you don't have a spiritual practice, if you're listening to me and you're like, okay, fine, just get started. Just see a little bit how it feels and how this shifts your energy. Now I want to talk about the third piece, which is, let's say that you do find that person that you want to reach out to or network with, that person popped up for you on LinkedIn, that opportunity, that organization, you want to connect with them, you might find yourself going back into your logical brain, which is totally fine, to send the direct message, to get the meeting on your calendar. Inside of my Women's Leadership Accelerator, I try and intervene a little bit here. I'll give you templates, words to say, how to respond, how to reach out to people, because, our nervous self, the part of us that wants to hang really tight and deliberately manage our career, usually shuts doors. And so you want to make sure that you're saying and communicating things in a certain way that invites people in. And so once you send that message and you get the meeting, you're going to start freaking out. This is totally normal. We don't have to fix you. You're amazing, all the things. Then what you're going to do is you're going to re-engage with that conversation from this place of curiosity. Literally say to yourself, how can I be curious in this conversation? How can I belong in this conversation? I am their peer. Even though I need something from them, like a job, I am their peer. I am here to connect with them. I am wanting to see what is possible in this particular situation. You're going to go into the conversation with that huge, enormous open heart and level of curiosity. If you get really into the oracle cards, you can draw another oracle card and ask yourself something like, what do I most need to hear? Like, what can support me in this conversation today? Do that. Connect with yourself. Remember that you are whole, that you are complete, that you are worthy, that you belong in this conversation with this human being, and that you are ready and strong enough to ask, whether it's for an introduction to a colleague, or it's for an opportunity, or it's just to ask them what's been on their mind, what has been keeping them up at night, how can you support them? Like anything that they can do to open their Rolodex, how much you admire them. Being bold and confident enough to say those words comes out in those conversations. So if you've been listening to this podcast episode the entire way through, then I know, and I want to reiterate, that even if your logical brain kicked in and said, what is happening here? This is a very different type of podcast episode than what Stacy usually produces. Then I say congratulations, because that means that you're ready. You're ready to walk through the door, and there is a sliver of light. There is an opportunity ready to be cultivated. There is something out there that you're not seeing right now that is very, very alive and ready to help you through this next journey. It doesn't need to take another year to find your next opportunity. It doesn't need to take 3 years to get promoted. It is available to you right now, today, and it can happen by just walking through the door that is already open. I hope you have an absolutely, absolutely extraordinary Halloween, Dia de los Muertos, Day of the Dead, an opportunity to connect with your light, your celebration of Diwali, your opportunity to say, hey, I am ready for more. This is available to me, and let's go. All right. Thank you all so, so much for listening, and I'll see you next week. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to Women Changing Leadership with Stacy Mayer. If you enjoyed this episode, you are absolutely going to love and benefit from the work that we're doing inside of the Women's Leadership Accelerator. This month-to-month membership program is unlike anything else in the market. We are single-handedly flipping the unemployment rates on their head. It is the only place on the internet where you can actually get yourself not only a job offer, but one that has a higher salary, a higher title, and more recognition and influence than you ever could have imagined in your career. Inside the Women's Leadership Accelerator, we are getting women promoted. We are getting them multiple higher level job offers. And I want that to happen for you. Join us in this one-of-a-kind program. You're going to get coaching directly from me, my executive mentors who are also hiring managers who are doing the work, who have worked with me personally for the past 3 to 5 years. We are here inside of this accelerator program to work with you personally to begin to elevate your leadership to that next level. This is exactly what you have been looking for, and I am here to deliver it to you. Best thing, it's month to month. So you can come in, join us, get access to all of my training materials, my weekly live interactive calls, and you can begin to bring your friends into this community. It is the most corporate badass community on the market. I can't wait to see you in there. Go to authenticallypowerfulwomen.com. We are changing the face of the leadership table one promotion at a time. I can't wait to see you there.